Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Commissioner Bell, and today is Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. We'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing star 6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing star 6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. So good morning. We'll have the Board of Commissioners roll call. Good morning, Commissioner Olson.
Good morning, Commissioner Bell. We're here and ready to go.
Lovely. And good morning, Commissioner Scar. That was kind of a question because actually I'm not sure she's with us today. So perhaps she is not. Well, we will jump right into our meeting with Adventist Health Tillamook and President Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Thanks. 8 patients in the hospital today, 9 surgery cases scheduled. Ambulance crews did 691 transports yesterday, 1 transfer and 1 transport home. 132 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon. That's 14 more than yesterday. And 373 discharge delays, no change from yesterday. Had a great time at the Tillamook County Fair. Appreciated everybody stopping by our booth. We had more than, I think it was 987 people enter to win our all our prizes that we're giving away, including 2 e-bikes. And just want to congratulate Lynn Stein and Michelle Jones on winning the e-bikes. They were both very happy. Lynn picked hers up, and Michelle's husband, Tom, picked hers up, and they were very excited about that. We also gave away 392 kits of Narcan for people who want to have Narcan in their car or in their home. That's part of our opioid work with our Tillamook. And so that was a large number of kits to give away, and we were happy that we could do that. All in all, it was a great fair. We only had 1 ambulance call for the entire 4 days of the fair, which is rather unusual. So it was definitely a safe fair, and I'm looking forward to it again next year. So unless you've got questions, I'll go back on mute.
Thank you, Eric. I thought the hospital booth was outstanding, as usual. It looked really great, and every time I went by, I didn't get to see you, but I got to see a lot of people I used to work with there, and it was really a pleasure to see everybody, so well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, any questions for Eric? If not, we will jump right in with the Coastal Caucus and Senator Weber. Give the senator a moment to unmute. Good morning.
It always takes just a wee bit longer than what I think, to unmute.
Okay.
I also want to talk about the Tillamook County Fair to begin with. I want to compliment especially the leadership, the fair board, the staff. I want to thank them for a really good time. As you know, my friends and I, Shauna Thorpe and Chris Shirk, do the food for the staff and the parimutuel and the fair board and what they call the doghouse. And we start on Monday before the fair, and we end on Saturday to make sure that they have lunch fixings, snacks, and a dinner. So they don't have to worry about their food. And so it's a really rewarding experience to be able to feed all those people on a daily basis, especially with such great people that I work with. So that makes the fair fun. The fair is one of those places where people come back after being gone for years, and you get to see them, and you pick up right where you left off. It's such an enjoyable experience. And then it also gives you time to think about, well, how many people are here? What are the challenges? being able to make sure that everything happens there as it should is really quite a job. And like I say, I compliment them all on making it all happen. The other thing I want to talk about this morning is what I talked about in the past, something called IP17. It has now been given a ballot measure number. It is going to be ballot measure 118. And what this does is it increases taxes on businesses in order to give most Oregonians a rebate of $750 a year. It's another example of out-of-state dabbling in Oregonians' interests because it is being paid for and supported by California. What the reason is, why they think we are the big experiment, is beyond me. But for some reason, they think that we are easier to manipulate than a lot of other states and try out some of these initiatives, some of these ideas on us and see if we will buy them. So what I'm going to tell you is even the governor has come out against this. I don't believe there is even one legislator that is in favor of this because what it does is it once again hurts our business community. And so if we can't attract business and support business in Oregon, we're shooting ourselves in the foot, because how are we going to be able to sustain what we actually need for survival if we don't have business? And why punish something that is providing so much for us? And the $750, I was talking with friends, $750 isn't even going to pay a month's rent. It's going to be not very many trips to the grocery store. Is it going to be able to pay the rising increase of our utilities? Because all of our utilities are going to have to increase their rates. I'm not saying PUD is, but because the cost of service and materials is also going up for them. So it's not a well thought out initiative. And once again, it points out that we as people who are going to the grocery store, walking down the street, listening to various options and ideas, should read all the way to the bottom of the page. Sometimes I'm guilty of that. I don't read all the way to the bottom of the page and I don't get all of the information. But when someone comes at you with a petition that sounds just too good to be true, it most likely is. We were sold a bill of goods as a state on 110. This is another opportunity for someone to manipulate us into thinking that this is a good idea. So it's going to be number 118, measure 118, like I said. It's going to be on the ballot in November. Please pay attention. As someone said, it's a tax so bad that not even the governor can support it. And so I think that, that's very telling. I had the opportunity
Senator?
and the pleasure. Yes, ma'am.
Before we move off of that, could you remind us, please, I think you told us last week or the week before, but will you remind us, please, which Oregon businesses would be taxed?
Great idea. Those that make over 25 million in gross sales a year, because it, once again, just like the cat tax, will be a tax on gross sales. We have been very open to making sure that we had a business-friendly community, especially for chip makers. This would impact them severely because it would be a 3.5% tax on their, 25 million or more. We already have chip makers that are not going to locate in Oregon because of the high cost of doing business in Oregon. There's one chip maker that was given a huge amount of money by the federal government and decided, because they already have a plant in Oregon, but they decided not to expand in Oregon, but to go to Florida because it was cheaper to do business in Florida than it was in Oregon. So, we've got to look at sustaining that business that we have and growing business. And we think, oh, well, $25 million, it's just like looking at the cat tax and the $1 million. We have small businesses right here in our community that make over $1 million a year in gross sales, and they are being taxed on that. And some of them, you're seeing that on your receipt that you get when you buy something there, that how it is impacting them. Because once again, this is going to increase the cost of items that we are already being charged what we think is too much for, and inflationary items also. So we've got to look at how we are going to increase our business community, not penalize our business community for being here, for something that isn't necessarily going to provide that much of a benefit for the citizens that are here. Is that any clearer?
Oh, it is, and it's very interesting. I'm glad you decided to talk about it again. It's very interesting. It has a Robin Hood sort of flavor about it, and it's not. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, when I support a tax personally as a voter, when I support a tax is because I know where it's going. I know what it's going to pay for, and I support that. I support that thing. And so it's just not even computing for me that we should tax businesses and then just give the money to citizens. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. There's no sense in it. And why someone would think that we were gullible enough to accept something like this is beyond me.
Well,
because
and lots of
like
folks,
I've said, this is being paid for by people in California to get on our ballot. Well, why doesn't California put that on their ballot?
Right. Yeah. And
Okay.
I completely agree with what you're saying about that we need to attract business. We don't need to make Oregon a less business friendly environment. We need to attract business. And
Yes.
Folks who are listening may not know that Senator Weber and Commissioner Wilson and I are all engaged in Tillamook County economic development. And it's one of the principles of economic development is that we need a business-friendly community. We need to grow our economy. It's just essential.
Yes.
Commissioner, may I add my 2 cents on this as well?
Please do.
When these measures come along from time to time, this one being the most recent, of course, my experience or observation over the years is the people who put these together and gather signatures, which is a hard task, and get it on the ballot before voters, almost none of them has ever owned a business, operated a business, nor have those individuals had their name on the front side of a paycheck. They simply are woefully ignorant as to how business operates in America and in Oregon. So that's just an observation that they are trying to impose things on all of us that they themselves do not understand. Just my 2 cents this early in the morning. Thank you.
Nor have they thought out the consequences, the unintended consequences of a utopian idea, because of how it will in turn punish a large segment of our society. So it's really interesting that this thing has manifested itself in the way that it has. And hopefully the voters will see the common sense in voting no on something like this, not supporting this, because basically it's going to hurt everybody. Going on, I was lucky enough to have coffee with Commissioner Bell yesterday, and we talked about several issues. And once again, this conversation is going to sewer and water and issues like that. And I think that we need to really put together a plan for our infrastructure that is, we do plans for roads and we do plans for businesses. We need to, excuse me, work together as a plan for our water and our sewer, as a big plan for our county and for our region, because the the things that we have that we are meeting head on a daily basis concerning our sewer and our water are huge. And I think that you would agree with me that we need to really work on that. And I want to compliment the commissioner for working on this, with meeting together with the water providers and the sewer providers and looking at the issues that we as a county need to address. So anyway, got something stuck in my throat. Sorry about that. And also, the Northwest Act and COLPAC met last week, and they also had a discussion on Measure 118. And I was not there, but I heard the report of it. And Senator Johnson is working especially hard to educate people on the downside of 118. Otherwise, I'm continuing to work on issues on chronic absenteeism. And I want to highlight the fact that on Sunday at the Red Barn at the cheese factory is going to be an event for Salmonberry Trail. This would be a wonderful economic driver for our tourist industry, and continuing to work on that and develop it and make sure that we can make this can become a reality is very important to our area. And so I'm going to stop right there. I could probably go on, as you know, but thank you for the opportunity this morning. I appreciate it very much. Any questions?
Thank you, Senator, and thanks for having coffee with me yesterday. It was a great discussion, and I do agree with you that we need to continue the work in talking about finding solutions for water systems and for people. Specifically, we were talking yesterday about folks, in particular, people on limited income, seniors who have aging and broken septic systems, and how to help them with that. So today I'm going to reach out to the community development to Chris Chiola and find out there was a grant program for helping people.
Yes.
Okay. So I've got
Oh, somebody's not muted.
Wi-Fi.
Hello, somebody's not muted. So there was a grant program for helping people with aging and failing septic systems, and I'm going to check today and find out whether or not that's still going. So, but it's certainly a problem. There are a lot of people in our community in Tillamook County who have older homes and older septic systems and limited incomes, and the repairs for those are very expensive. So thank you for the conversation, Senator, and thanks for meeting with me.
Yes, and it's bigger than the sewer. When we have areas where sewer systems have failed, and we also have areas with housing adjacent to all of that have wells, then we are putting people in peril if we're not making sure that those septic and sewer systems are not held responsible for repairs. So, there's other health issues that go along with this. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have any questions for the Senator? If not, let's ask for Representative Javity. Are you with us this morning? give him a moment to unmute. Rep Javity? Well, perhaps he is not, but we'll make time for him if he jumps on later. Let's move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center.
This is for the health.
Do we have Ed Colson? Hey, good morning.
Good morning, and good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Tillamook County. The Health Department is here. The health promotion topic for this month, it's Immunization Awareness Month. Today, we are sharing all about vaccines. This month, we join in the effort to raise awareness about why vaccines are important for people of all ages and how they can help prevent serious, sometimes deadly diseases and illness. Visit our Facebook page to learn more about vaccines, which are also called immunizations, and the importance of staying up to date with them. And if you need immunizations, now is a great time to get it scheduled. Not only will it offer protection as we near September, but we are also still offering our promotion on wellness exams. So if you have a wellness exam at our health center between now and December 31st of this year, you will receive a free gift card in the mail after your visit. Visit our website, tillamookchc.org, to learn more. And then lastly, Oregon Health Authority has now identified 15 cases of measles since mid-June in Clackamas, Multnomah, and Marion counties. All cases are among unvaccinated people. Measles typically starts with a fever, cough, runny nose, and red eyes. A rash usually follows, beginning on the face and then spreading to the rest of the body. Symptoms begin 7 to 21 days after exposure to a person with measles. Measles has been cited to be the most contagious disease we know. Fortunately, measles vaccination is highly effective, and most Oregonians have been vaccinated, usually as children. Anyone who has received a measles vaccination at any time in their life has a low risk of getting measles. Learn more about measles cases in Oregon and measles immunization on Oregon Health Authority's website and Facebook page. And with that, that is our health department update.
Thank you very much, Ed. Do we have any questions for Ed? It's disturbing to hear that people are not getting vaccinated for measles. It's hard to understand, actually. Well, we can move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Do we have Gail Nelson with us this morning?
Oh, Commissioner, I got an email from her. She will not be on this morning.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So then we go on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Kenna Williams,
good
are you
morning.
with us this morning?
Yes.
Good
Yes,
morning.
I am. Good morning. Frank Hannah Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. Want to say that questions regarding programming and appointments, 503-842-8201. Would like to also say that I have spoken many times about our QPR programming here, question, persuade, and refer. It's an hour and a half of time of some information regarding the things that a person can do to be knowledgeable about what their friends, family, and neighbors may be feeling about self-harm. It is a suicide prevention program. What I'd like to say is that if at any time you or anyone from the business that you work with may be interested in having our staff person come in and do a QPR on the site of your work, we would be happy to discuss that with you and pull that together. We have done that with a number of businesses in Tillamook County, and we'll be happy to talk through and replicate that in your place of business. You can reach us at 503-842-8201 and ask for the prevention coordinator, and you would like information about QPR and having QPR come into your business. This can be sometimes very effective to have colleagues in a work setting all be receiving the same information regarding question, persuade, and refer. So I'd like to leave that with folks and have people give some thought to that. And I will take questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Frank. I'd like to just say that I have taken the QPR training once, and I thought it was excellent. I thought it was very helpful. It was an opportunity to think through the things that we can say to people if we're worried about them, if we're worried about their mental health, worried that they might be suicidal, because that's probably happened to all of us at least once in our lifetimes that we've been talking to somebody and we realize we're worried about them. And it's awkward, you don't know what to say. You don't want to insult somebody. You don't want to get into their business. It's awkward. So it was very helpful to get a list of questions and practice them and role model with each other and just talk through it and sort of normalize it, because mental health is part of our health, and sometimes people are dangerously depressed, and we need to be able to talk to them about it if we know it or fear it. So thank you for providing the QPR training and for talking about it regularly, and I encourage people to take it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome. With that, we can move on to emergency management. Randy Thorpe, are you with us?
You bet, Commissioner. I'm here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, state of Oregon is in full swing into fire season, as probably everybody realizes. Right now, usually August, September are some of our worst months for wildland fires. So with that, I just send out an urge that everyone be extremely cautious with any type of open flame that they may have. The number of the man-caused fires seems to be not dwindling. It seems to be steadily increasing, and don't know the exact numbers. I just hear that the man-caused fires are increasing from the fire officials that I meet with during the state ECC meetings. So anyway, statewide, they haven't really increased that many acreage. They're at 1,269,000 acres, and they've got 116 active fires going on. And those will range from the small ones to the ones that are over 100,000 acres. So just use extreme caution. And if you're going camping, please check with, the Oregon Department of Forestry or the state parks, the county parks, national parks, wherever you are going to be recreating, and find out what their bans are for the use of fire, because they're not sometimes all consistent, and they have some different rules and regulations for having your campfire and any other type of open fire. So please check and be extremely careful. That's one thing we do not want to have happen here in wonderful Tillamook County, is to have a large wildfire breakout. So just be careful while you're out there. And of course, our weather has been not too bad. It's been fairly pleasant. And because of that, we have, I think, personally have seen a big upswing in visitors. And, they're trying to get out of the smoke and the heat, and they come to the coast. And that says a lot about Tillamook County, that, when people have a chance to escape, they come here. So that it's kind of good that we have that reputation that Tillamook County is a great place to go to get away from your worries of everyday life. So with that, just be careful while you're out there driving, and be patient. Nothing is worth getting in an accident for. So just be careful while you're out there. And of course, there's still time to prepare that famous go bag for yourself, your family, and don't forget the pets. So with that, I will turn it back to Commissioner Bell.
Thank you very much, Randy. Any questions for Randy? I appreciate the cautions about fire season, particularly. I will ask again if Representative Javity is on. Give a shout out to him before we move on to the commissioners. If not, let's jump in with commissioners' reports and start with Commissioner Olson.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. I'll mention just briefly a couple of things at the fair. I was there all 4 days, most all of the days. and met a lot of people. We had a booth talking about the radio bond that will be before the voters in November, and answered lots and lots of questions, probably visited with several hundred people in depth, and then had some handouts as well. And I thought it was quite productive, but I wanted to just give a couple of observations about the fair as a liaison to the fair. First of all, I think it was very successful. I have not yet seen the numbers. I think Saturday may have been a record day or close to it. There were an awful lot of people there. It was a beautiful day. And the other 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think were well attended as well. And everything came off without any major difficulties. So that part is good. We'll have some numbers on attendance and money maybe in a week or two. One thing I noticed, sitting in the courtyard there for a few minutes, listening to some beautiful religious music by a local couple, and I've forgotten their name, but it was quite nice, and probably 100 or more people there listening in the morning. And I looked right next to the stage where these folks were performing is the pari-mutuel betting windows, if you bet on a horse track. And then another 50 feet away from that is a beer garden. And I'm thinking, we have something for everyone. Literally, you can come and listen to religious music. And if you prefer to bet on horses, you don't have to go very far. And if you'd like a cold beer, you can go just a little bit further. So we absolutely have something for everyone at the fair. The other thing I wanted to mention is there are so many fascinating people either working at the fair or walking around or visiting or coming to a booth. And if you engage some of these people in conversation, you're absolutely intrigued by what they do, what they've done, their history. And I'll tell you about one individual I met, and I won't give his name because it's not important this morning, but he lives here in Tillamook County, and he's an older gentleman. His wife passed away not too long ago, but many years ago, he left his home state of Maine and he went to work for the federal government after getting a good education somewhere. And he ended up in the State Department, and he traveled all over the country and parts of the world, and had a fascinating career. And in fact, may have been working for the CIA for all we know. He didn't want to talk about that, but nonetheless, he retired. And then this was just prior to the 9/11 attack. And shortly after that, when America began to gear up its military and other parts of the federal government, he was called and asked if he would come back into service and take over the passport offices for all of America. Now think about that. There are probably tens of thousands of places where you can get a passport in America. Think about all the background work that needs to be done, all the renewals, and the fact that probably 300 million people have a passport. He was in charge of all of that and ramping it up to be more aggressive after 9/11. And he now lives here in Tillamook County. And just having a conversation with someone who'd had that level of experience and was called to serve his country on 2 occasions, military, and then back in again as running the passport program for America. And he lives here. And my point on all this is there are some absolutely fascinating, intriguing, intelligent, interesting people who live among us. And if you don't know your neighbors, get to know them, because you might find a delightful surprise in meeting someone you haven't met or talked to before. So I'll move on to a couple of other things. There's one pretty good event coming up here in a couple of weeks. It will be August 31st, which is the last weekend of August. In Cloverdale, I think I mentioned once before, there's a cruise-in. Now, I'm not sure we have any more cruise-ins or other cruise-ins here in Tillamook County, but this one is 9 to 1 o'clock on Saturday, the 31st. And it's usually 50, 60, 70 vehicles that have been restored. Most of them are 40, 50, 60 years old. Some of them are hot rods. Some of them were the classic Chevrolets from the 1950s. And if you enjoy looking at old cars where people have put in a lot of time and effort and money to restore them, you should come through Cloverdale on the 31st, because you'll see a whole lot of them parked right on Highway 101, walk around town, have an ice cream cone, and look at these vehicles. And then the last thing I'll mention, we did get an update this morning from the Bureau of Energy Management, federal agency affiliated with the Department of the Interior. They have now closed out the environmental assessment period with respect to offshore energy. And this means where they're putting the giant windmills out in the ocean to generate electricity. And there are two areas now that are moving forward rather rapidly. One is clear down south off Brookings, almost at the California border. And the other is a bit further north in the Florence-Reedsport area, just north of Coos Bay. So you might ask, well, when are they going to be up here? And no one knows. But there is a plan, I think, to do most of the offshore waters of America, including the Gulf Coast, the East Coast, and now on the West Coast. So two major projects have taken another step forward, and it's likely they'll actually go out to bid for contractors to get moving sometime yet this year. And whether they'll come up further north into Lincoln County, Tillamook County, Clatsop County remains to be seen, but we are watching that closely because it is a distinct possibility, and the wind blows in Tillamook County just like it does off the Oregon coast everywhere. So just an update. We'll keep our eye on that one, make sure that when something comes our way, we'll know about it, and be sure that Tillamook County has a seat at the table when all this happens, if and when it does. So with that, Commissioner, I'll just pass it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have invited Commissioner-elect Paul Fournier to join these calls when he is able. As folks likely remember, Paul won his election in May, and he will take office in January. So he's working with us as much as time allows, as much as he can, without pay until then, just getting up to speed on the job, and we really appreciate his engagement. So, Paul Fournier, I'll hand it over to you.
Good morning, Commissioner Bell. And I just want to thank, and good morning, everybody else. I just want to thank the BOCC staff for the continuing onboarding efforts with me and trying to keep me informed and inviting me to meetings and discussions that I need to be at if I'm going to hit the ground running in January. As Commissioner Olson said, I participated at the fair this year. I did some task as a sheriff's office public information officer, running around taking photos and meeting with people. And then I also did 2 shifts at the emergency radio bond booth with Commissioner Olson. Took over for him so he could get some much needed break. He was there all week. So I commend him on him and his wife's efforts out there, getting a good word out there about the radio bond. I don't want to take up too much time. I just want to say that I continue to meet with department heads and community leaders throughout the county. Anybody on this call that would like to meet with me, you can contact me through my county email, which is my name, paul.fournier@tillamookcounty.gov. I'd love to meet with anybody on this call and continue to meet with department heads as we go forward. I've been participating in the budget roundtable discussions, which has been kind of optimistic. I'm excited about some of the ideas that are coming out of those meetings and workshops and working groups. I think we're going to have a lot of ideas going forward for the next decade on things we can do to bring more revenue in, become more efficient, and keep the county moving forward and investing in our future. So I'm excited about that. I met with Sarah Absher concerning the FEMA BIOP, or as I like to call it, the FEMA bullying tactic. Finding out as much as we can about that and seeing how the county can move forward, either which direction we can move forward, what our options are as a county regarding our participation in the federal flood insurance plan. I met with County Parks Director Dan Keyes. I'm excited about some of the ideas that he's willing to pursue as a new County Parks Director. It's really nice to have someone in there that has just a wealth of knowledge. I mean, he's been working in Parks and Rec, and he can correct me, but I think he said since he was 14 years old, and it shows. He's confident. He's got a lot of great ideas. I think he's the right person for the job. I'm excited that we have him. Glad he found his way, like a lot of us do, to Tillamook County and wants to serve. Finally, just basically, if anybody would like to meet with me, please reach out. I will also be reaching out via email and phone calls if I have your number. And thank you for the invitation to participate in this call.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Commissioner-elect Fournier? Well, if not, I'll say thank you for joining us. We all look forward to working with you, and we're enjoying working with you now. So we're glad you're on board. You're welcome. I want to say a few things about the fair. I think the fair, I love the fair in general, and I think this fair was outstanding. It was, it felt like we're maybe fully back to normal after the COVID years. You know, the COVID years really messed with the fair, and there were a lot more exhibits this year than in the last couple of years. I was really happy to see that. The pavilion was full of people's artwork and their flowers and their baked goods and photography, and the land products were excellent, the things people grow in their gardens. And it was just, I love that part of the fair. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I love seeing the things that my neighbors are passionate about. I love seeing the dairy cows and the animals people are raising and the children who are working on them and the food people are growing and the things that they make. There are so many talented, creative people in our community. I was just in awe of some of the things upstairs in the pavilion that people had made and exhibited. And we just have so many talented people in our community, and it's a joy to be able to share the things that people are most proud of. And those, like to Commissioner Olson's point earlier about the things we don't know about people, those are things we wouldn't necessarily know about people, that they grow award-winning flowers or they're masterful weavers or, et cetera. So that part just fills my heart. So thanks to everyone who exhibited, and thanks to the many, many volunteers who work to manage all those exhibits. That's a huge job. And I was thinking about over the course of the fair, the commissioners work at the fair. And so we were there all 4 days and doing various jobs. And a number of people talked to me this year about how much better our fair is than other fairs, which of course I agree because I'm biased, but other people brought it up with me and said, we just recently came from X fair or Y fair, and it was nothing compared to this fair. And I think that is true. And for several reasons. For one thing, we're the only fair that still has horse racing, which is awesome. So it's not everything, but it's awesome. And a lot of people come to the fair just for horse racing, and it's really fun. But also, I think it has to do with volunteerism. We have so many people working for our fair, all of the people who were setting up the exhibits, all the people who are helping with the fair, Senator Weber and her friends who are feeding people, the fair board. Bravo to the fair board. I am giving, radio standing ovation to the fair board for their hard work. They work hard all year long, but in Fair Week, they take the week off, they take it as a vacation, and spend the whole week at the fair working hard. And I'm in awe of what the fair board accomplishes. So it's, bravo to fair manager, Cami Von Sager, and she does a great job. And altogether, it's just wonderful and something we can be really proud of. And I talked to somebody at the fair on Friday, I think, who said, I think the fair might be the best thing about Tillamook. And I think there are a lot of good things about Tillamook. He said, you could argue with me on this, but I thought about it. I thought the fair is truly outstanding. I can understand why people might think that. So hats off to everyone who participates in our fair being so wonderful. I talked to 3 beautiful young ladies, girls, maybe 10 years oldish, who came by. I was working in a booth. It was probably the radio bond booth Doug was talking about. And they came by and they were just alight with happiness, and they had sold their meat birds. And they were talking to us about it and how much they made and how excited they were and what they were going to spend the money on. And they were just, it was wonderful to see their joy about their accomplishment. And it's just, it's truly a wonderful thing. I had the pleasure of working with Jerry Underwood this year, all 4 days selling racing programs. Jerry is a local treasure. He was the fair director for many years. And since he retired, he has been in charge of the racing programs. And so I got to work with Jerry out in the courtyard selling racing programs. And that was really fun. It's just a great job because you get to see everybody and listen to the music and watch the kids dance, and everybody's happy. You know, it was in 4 days of selling racing programs, I think I only saw one surly person, and I doubt if they were surly about the fair. It seemed like it might have just been their natural state. So it was just purely a pleasure. And also I worked in the Tillamook County Parks booth, and that was a pleasure. And it was the first year that Tillamook County Parks has ever had a booth at the fair. So bravo to Tillamook County Parks. And they engaged with a lot of people. They had a lot of visitors. They gave a lot of information, and people had fun at the booth. So that was a great effort. And I also worked at the radio bond booth, which is tied to what I was talking about earlier when Senator Weber was talking about Measure 118. And I said that as a voter, when I support a tax or the raising of a tax, it'll be because I know where the money's going and I believe in that cause. And that's true about the radio bonds that will be on our November ballot, where we had a booth to educate people about it, provide information, and that is about updating our radio system for emergency responders, for police, the sheriff's office, fire, and ambulance. And because I'm a commissioner and I'm the liaison to law enforcement, I know that our radio system is outdated and in many ways obsolete, in the sense that it's breaking down and it's so old that we can't get replacement parts. So having had the privilege of being the liaison to law enforcement now for a while and learning about people's jobs, I think it is unconscionable for us to send people out to do those jobs in remote rural Tillamook County if they're not able to be connected to backup, if they're not able to get the help they need because our radio system doesn't work. So I know exactly where that money is going, and I believe in the cause. And so it's just a good example of the kind of tax I would support compared to the kind I might not. So with that, I will. Oh, I also wanted to say quickly that I attended the Nehalem City Council meeting last night to talk to them about the FEMA biological opinion and the pre-implementation measures that they are requiring of us. And it was just a pleasure to be at the Nehalem City Council. I hadn't been there for several years, and it was just a great meeting. People were really engaged. There were community members there. I was very impressed with the council meeting, and we had a great discussion about FEMA and other things that we have in common between the city and the county. And so thanks to Nehalem City Council for inviting me to be there, and I look forward to returning. So with that, I will jump over to the city of Manzanita. Do we have Mayor Stock with us this morning?
Good morning, Commissioner. You do. Good morning from Manzanita.
Good morning.
Just a few updates from our council meeting last week. First, and not just of interest to our city, but the region around us, we had a good update presentation from the folks at Nehalem Bay State Park. they have got some long-awaited projects that they get to work on and implement this winter, and it has to do with the infrastructure of the park. But very importantly for people to know, it will result in the complete closure of the park beginning in October, this October, a few months away, and lasting likely through June of next year. The park is getting out there and letting people know about this now and starting to get the word out. So I wanted to pass that along. And if anyone has any questions about that or concerns, you can direct those to the Nehalem Bay State Park. I think their website's probably the best way to go, and their park manager there, Ben. So that was of interest. Obviously, they're a neighbor of ours, and a lot of people use that park, locals in the winter time in particularly. So that was a good conversation to have and start to understand better what is going on there. I'm very happy to say that our long-awaited new hire for our Public Works Department will be starting next week. We're very much looking forward to getting him on board. We have a small but terrific staff, and one opening on that staff is a big deal for us. So we're really glad to get that filled. And then we are deep into the planning for the community outreach process for our comprehensive planning work, which begins publicly this fall, although there's been behind the scenes work going on about this for the last year as we got ready, decided to prioritize it, fund it, hire a consultancy to help us with that work. So there'll be more information to share in this forum and also with our community as we get into September and begin public meetings and small group meetings as well. And that's it from Manzanita. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I had trouble unmuting. Do we have anyone on from the city of Nehalem or Wheeler? How about Rockaway Beach?
Good morning. This is Charles
Garibaldi.
McNeely,
Oh,
Mayor
good
of Rockaway
morning.
Beach. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Good morning, Mayor. Yes,
The
we
old-
can.
Hi. That star six is a well, let's just say it's a challenge.
It takes a while.
It does. Anyways, last week was our new administrative assistant, Elizabeth Avila, first week. It's wonderful to have City Hall fully staffed again. Now they just need another few weeks to catch up. Last Tuesday morning, Daniel Ware, the Forest Program Manager from Sustainable Northwest, and City Manager Shepard presented our city's Forest Legacy Grant application to the Oregon Department of Forestry. If awarded, the funds will be available for the purchase of the lower half of the Jetty Creek watershed in 2026. While we don't know exactly where our Jetty Creek project will ultimately lead us, our staff is working to secure funding for likely scenarios. Public Works now has surveillance cameras installed at the Boardwalk parking lot, Phyllis Baker Park, and the new Anchor Street Park. It's great to see this type of proactive approach to security and safety at our public facilities. Nice job, Public Works Superintendent Dan Emerson and staff. Our City Council workshop is at City Hall tomorrow, August 14th at 4:30 p.m., followed by the City Council meeting at 6 p.m. I will deliver my annual State of the City message at the City Council meeting. Just a teaser, last fiscal year was one for the record books for Rockaway Beach. The Planning Commission meeting is at City Hall Thursday, August 15th at 5 p.m. And then last, something very exciting for our community, Finance Director Marnie Johnson, City Engineer Matt Del Moro, and City Manager Shepard presented the Nadana Beach Water Main Replacement Project to the state's Infrastructure Finance Authority Board. We are very happy to announce the board unanimously moved to finance our project. Not only was the city offered a low rate, but the financing package also includes nearly $1.5 million of forgivable principal. We'd like to thank our incredible staff that put this package together. The estimated annual repayment and interest rates are dramatically lower than those anticipated in the city's adopted budget. This is another great example of our high caliber employees securing significant and competitive outside funding for our city. The council, of course, has final authority to authorize the loan, and Biz Oregon is preparing the final loan package. With that bit of good news for us, back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and congratulations. That is good news.
Thank you.
Do we have someone on from the city of Garibaldi? The new city manager, perhaps, Luke? Well, how about the city of Bay City?
Yes, good morning, Commissioner. This is City Manager David McCall.
Good morning, David.
Good morning. So our mayor is out this week, so she asked me if I could jump on and give a short update. We will be having our monthly city council meeting tonight, beginning at 6 o'clock here in the community hall. Agenda and all materials are available online on the city's website under our packet. And I would like to highlight one item from that. We are very proud that we have 2 of our volunteer firefighters who recently passed the exams and have become EMTs. That is an incredible, addition to the quality of the services we're able to provide here in the city. And we're really proud for the efforts that they have put forward, all the time and energy they put into going to the class, studying for the test, and passing on the first time taking that test, and then joining us in making even better QRT for our community. So I'd like to recognize Jessica Mossinger and Kathy Logan for this significant achievement. That's all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Let's move on to the city of Tillamook. Nathan George. Give Nathan a moment to unmute.
Good morning, Commissioner. I'm unmuted now. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Yes, I do have an update here. Police Department, I just wanted to report that, as everyone knows, last week was Chief Troxel's swearing-in ceremony in City Council, and we would like to thank everyone who came to wish him his new role. National Night Out last week had a great turnout with over 200 people in attendance. It was really good. The food was really good. I really enjoyed the hamburger as usual. The Tillamook Police Department would like to thank our community for attending and participating in the event to support our police department. Plans are already in the works for a National Night Out event for 2025 next year. Everyone at the police department attended a first aid / CPR training last week. This is a state requirement to maintain a police officer certification. The police department had training on what's called the wrap. This device literally wraps up people who are out of control, need to be detained. The device helps keep them safe along with the officers. And if you ever have opportunity to see it, it's quite a demonstration. Our police department's done a demonstration in our council before. It's pretty neat. The Tillamook County Fair was this past week, as many people have talked about today. The team at the police department took the time to walk around, visit with attendees, eat a Pronto Pup, and enjoy some Tillamook ice cream. And the TPD wishes to thank our community for your support and also thank all the volunteers who help make the Tillamook County Fair happen each year. And the police department issued a press release this week reminding residents and visitors that starting on August 19th and extending through August 1st, the Tillamook Police Department will be conducting extra patrols with an emphasis on occupant protection, which is seatbelts / child seat car seats. In 2022 alone, there were 25,420 passenger vehicle occupants killed in the United States. 50% of those killed were not wearing seatbelts. Please remember to buckle up children, and stay safe. In the Public Works Department, the Streets and Parks Division will continue to water and maintain the hanging flower baskets along Main Street and Pacific Avenue in downtown Tillamook, in addition to performing routine maintenance tasks like street sweeping, pothole filling, and bioswale maintenance. This week, Public Works Department crews are also working on repairing a storm line that caused a sinkhole over on Birch Avenue, which is near the hospital. The Water Distribution Division is in the process of repairing a water leak on a transmission main line south of town this week. And as more laterals are replaced, the city continues collaborating with contractors and homeowners. Please be aware of the increased construction activity around the town. So I just want to remind you to join us on October 23rd at 7 p.m. at Goodspeed Park for an evening of fun and community and family entertainment. The city is partnering with Nehalem Bay Health Center to host a free, family-friendly resource fair and outdoor movie night aimed at encouraging engagement from especially our Latino population, although it is for everyone. The fair will feature a variety of local community-based vendors, including a local food truck. At 9 p.m., we'll be screening the beloved movie Coco, along with popcorn. And this event's open to children and adults of all ages and abilities. Feel free to bring your favorite seat and any snacks or non-alcoholic beverages. And spread the word to everyone. Hope to see you there. For all inquiries, including maintenance requests on potholes, damaged streets, etc., please contact our Public Works Forum by phone or at publicworks@tillamook.gov by email. And you can also contact our line and get the prompts during out of office hours when we're closed office hours, to get to the emergency on-call person to report anything to do with our water or sewer or trees or parks or any kind of public utilities. Our public utilities are water, sewer, and stormwater and parks. If you have any safety concerns, you can contact us. Last week, I had the opportunity to travel to the city of Garibaldi and attend an executive session training put on by the Oregon Commission of Ethics. I'd like to thank Mayor Leanne Welsh of Bay City for inviting all city managers and many others in Tillamook County to attend. And the city is hiring a deputy city recorder position with competitive pay and benefits. Please visit our website or stop by City Hall for more information. And just a reminder, all municipal elections on the city's website are live and will be live through today, August 13th. So we have 4 wards. Wards 1, 3, 5, and 6 are all open seats. So to run for city office, a resident of one of those wards must complete the packet found on the city's website, or it can be picked up at City Hall in the office of the Deputy City Recorder. Please contact Tammy Hines with any questions. A reminder, if you see something, say something by calling 911 for emergencies and dispatch for non-emergencies. I know I say this all the time, but I ran into some residents just last week, people I know personally, and they were telling me about some things that are happening. And my first question was, did you call 911? Did you call dispatch? And they said no. They simply told me months later. So again, if you see something, please call dispatch for non-emergency and call 911 for anything emergency, rather than reporting it to your friends or neighbors or on Facebook. Just please pick up the phone call, or you can text as well. That way we are able to respond quickly. The next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, August 19th at 7 p.m. We encourage everyone interested in your local government to attend virtually or in person. That's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nathan. We always appreciate your report. Do we have anything else for the good of the order? You're welcome. Well, if not, I will thank everyone for participating. Thank you, KTIL, as always, for broadcasting, and thank you, Tillamook County, for listening. This meeting is adjourned at 9:02. Thanks, everyone.